welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Canvas, aka the Canvas Shanay, where you guys get to join in with me in creating my own canvas. So today we'll be talking about what it is to have self-love and how you self-care. Maybe a month ago, I had an event with a few ladies where we went over what it is to show yourself self-care and how you self-love. So the whole reasoning of me to do that was to really broaden the mentality of the ladies that I know. Some were my clients, some people I grew up with, just to see what their mindset was. I know as I'm on a journey to self-awareness and figuring myself out, I just wanted to make sure that some of the people that I surrounded myself around or encounter was kind of on the same level. Because that falls into self-care and self-love. Sorry, my chair is a little noisy. Are what you put out, and what's around you is what you'll receive and what you'll intake. So you just want to, take care of yourself in that aspect of life. And then I went on and I asked them some questions because, like I said, I know them all differently. I've had different walks in life with, each one of them. So by me getting to this place, and these are questions that I had asked myself, and some of them were deep, some of them were not that deep. But the first question was, where do you see yourself in 2 years? I kept it to 2 years because oftentimes, when people ask that question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? We can't predict our future, and that's kind of far-fetched to me. So I wanted to keep it, realistic, because to me that's short term, and you can almost put your finger or know your direction in 2 years versus 5 to 10 years. Anything can happen. I mean, anything can happen within a year. But for example, if you say, oh, in 10 years I see myself, having a house, a kid, being a wife, that could happen sooner than that. So you don't want to put it out far long, and then forfeit your blessing that could possibly come sooner than that. The second question was, what were you doing 2 years ago, like in your past 2 years? So when I asked that, they were like, ooh, which was good, because it was a moment to reflect on where we are as women today. I know I am nowhere close or doing none of the stuff that I was doing 2 years ago. And again, that's a short time, but my life has changed drastically. I feel myself, and I know that I've changed way, like for the better. I'm nothing like I was 2 years ago. And so when I asked them that, they were like, ooh, wow. And some people, unfortunately, they're still in the same place that they were 2 years ago, and that's okay. So my whole point again of asking them these questions was to self-reflect. And these are great questions, y'all. I would take them and I would answer them, or if you know anyone, get a group of girlfriends or guy friends and ask yourself these questions. I mean, they're vital questions to reflect on who you are, where you're going in life, and if you're walking in your true purpose. The third question was, are you happy? And then I was like, no, seriously, like, are you happy? Because we can be like, oh yeah, I'm happy, but on the inside we are shouting, crying, wanting to beat the world up. So and a lot of people said that they were happy. I'm happy. I'm more happy than I've ever been in my life. And like I said, that's just because I'm getting to know me and I'm falling in love with myself. Like, I love myself. Let me just give myself a self hug, because I love myself there. And then the fourth question was, what bothers you the most? And I feel like that was an important question, because oftentimes, we get triggered or provoked, and people just think that we're hothead, or that we're being messy, or that we're in our feelings or our emotions. But real things bother real people. So you have to be real with yourself and the people around you and communicate those things. Whether it's your kid, your mother, your father, your friend, your coworkers, your business partner, anybody, let them know, hey, this bothers me, or I'm not feeling that. Let them know so that they can understand you better as a person, and then at that point, if they're still doing or putting you in an environment that are going to provoke you or make you feel a certain way, then that should make you reevaluate the time that you spent with this person or being around them, because obviously, they're triggering what bothers you, and that's not good at any time. The fifth question is, what feels good to you? And I was like, there's no boundaries with that question. What feels good to you? It could be, food, taking yourself out, driving a car, buying a new car, like laying in the bed, being sexy, being with your intimate partner, like what feels good to you? And what feels good to me is just being who I am freely with no limitations, no one telling me I'm doing too much or feeling like I can't say certain things or express myself. Like that's what feels good to me. It's just being myself. And I can be obnoxious sometimes, but I'll be apologetic and be myself. I mean, I know I like burp really, really loudly, and I startle some people when I burp, but it feels so good when it's coming out. It's like, you did not. And I'm like, yes, I did. Excuse me. But I had to get that out of there. The second, I mean, not the second, sorry. The sixth question is, do you want to or are you married? And the reluctant thing was, it was three married women in the room. No. It was three married women in the room and one engaged. And that made me feel so good because I'm like, I, am by wives. Like, so if I was to get in a serious situation or marriage come about, I have these people to turn to, and each marriage is different. Everyone view, marriage differently. So it just made me feel good. And I know it inspired the other women to actually be in a room with, like other people that are married. So that was a really, really good feeling to be in the room with people. But me, I do want to marry, but I also feel like marriage isn't for anyone. I so believe in walking soulmates, because marriage is not for everybody, and you may just meet that one person that is your backbone, your motivator, like just got your back. I mean, iron sharpens iron, it may be a little friction there because they just want to, see you at your best, and they may not be feeling marriage. And, as long as it's understood, like, hey, we're in this thing together. Let's try to figure out this thing called life, blow by blow. You got my back, I got your back, but we're going to push each other and we're just going to keep it moving. And then the seventh question was, how often do you pray? And that was another self-reflection, because we should be praying and talking to God daily. I mean, I know I talk to God as if I had like an imaginary friend, which God is my imaginary friend, because although I can't see, I can feel. And some people don't even believe in God, but to each his own. I believe in the higher power just because I've seen things happen. And I'm like, who else or what else could this be? I don't have the power to do this on my own. Like, I didn't even come in the world on my own. Like the things that happen, it's not ironic. It's not a coincidence. I don't even believe in coincidence. Like, it's a higher power. And I call my higher power God. And I tap into that and I talk to God, like all throughout the day. And I'm not going to say he like physically talks back, but I'll be shown some things, so that just makes me even more of a believer. And I had some people give me feedback like, I need to pray more. And I'm like, do your thing, at your own pace. Like, don't pray because I'm like, you need to pray or you gotta pray. But in order to see some results, you do need to pray, because you have those people in the world that are, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the term like a successful failure or whatever. They have everything in the world, but ultimately they're depressed, you know, like they're battling stuff. They face so many obstacles and go through things. I'm just gonna leave it there. And the eighth one, I asked them 8 questions because I think I did this in August, so I said a month ago, but it's been like a couple months ago. My 8th question was, how do you feel about yourself today? And I think that hit home, and they were like, oh, you know, well, not everybody. I was like, because this is when I, you know, first started my transition. Like, I gotta find myself. I gotta figure out who I am, because somewhere in the midst of all the stuff that I was dealing with and going through, I lost Canvas, and I have to find her because I think she's pretty dope. So that was a major question that made a lot of them self-reflect. And it's important that every day that you wake up, you set the tone on how your day is going to be, what you're going to do in the day, better than you did the day before. How do you feel today? So 8 questions were, where do you see yourself in 2 years, and what do you see yourself doing? 2, what were you doing in the past 2 years? So what were you doing 2 years ago? 3, are you happy? Are you seriously happy? 4, what bothers you the most? 5, what feels good to you? 6, do you want to, or are you married? 7, how often do you pray? And number 8, how do you feel about yourself?